Good morning, YouTube. So with today's video, I'm gonna give you top 5 Uomo fragrances. This is how cheesy I am, alright? So I'm trying to be creative, and it's very hard to be creative in this community, especially after so many years when everybody's done every kind of video possible. These all have the name Uomo in it. So I know I'm lame, I'm whack, whatever you want to call it. I'm definitely cheesy. A lot of the stuff that I give you guys nowadays, it's dad jokes, okay? I'm at that age, I can't help it. But these fragrances here are actually all designers, and they're actually really good. Now the first one is going to be the most affordable one in this list, and for the most part, they're pretty much all affordable, but they might range in price like from $30 to $80 Canadian. First one though, old fragrance, the oldest one in this list, and I believe it came out in like 96, 98, so definitely like the late 90s. Moschino Wo. This got a lot of hype back in the day, I believe like 2015, 2016, and that's from Jeremy Fragrance. But this is a very aldehydic fragrance. Now you're gonna get the aldehydes, you're gonna get kumquat, you're gonna get coriander, cinnamon, and also musk. There's a little bit more going on. There's like a cyclamen note, and I think a little bit of woods as well, okay? But this is very aldehydic, very spicy. Now it's not like an F black Ferragamo type of spicy. No, you are gonna get the cinnamon, you are gonna get the coriander. So the coriander, I believe, is more of like a fresh type of spice, with the cinnamon being more of a warm spice. And you're gonna get like a nice bright citrusy kumquat, and there's also gonna be quite a lot of musk. If you don't like musky fragrances, then this is one that you might not like. And there is a powdery undertone as well. I don't know where that's coming from, but this is masculine, sexy, with a little bit of class to it. When I'm thinking of like old school, gently masculine, I'm thinking, and I use these guys all the time, Kingsmen. The Kingsmen are old school in their mannerisms, their gentility. These guys are very polished, very polite, and they're like the epitome of gentlemen. Suit and tie couture type of shit, okay? But they're very masculine. They got that assassin bad boy side. Kind of like James Bond. You know, James Bond, he knows how to dress, super charming. He's got the mannerisms, but he does have that side to him where, like, if he breaks out into the 007, you know you're done. It's that type of old school masculinity with a hint of class. A lot of people nowadays, when they think of like masculinity, they think of like super like in your face bad boy, like just nothing but like tobacco and amber and oud, shit like that. You know, like there's different types of masculinity. It's not just like your Brock Lesnar's or your bullshit Andrew Tate type of shit. You know, there are like the masculine guys out there who like to dress up in suit and ties, who are like very gently and proper. Doesn't mean that they're pushovers or soy boy beta cucks. And this one here is more of a spring and fall fragrance. Next one, I would say that this is the most polished and most gently fragrance in this one here. This is not like bad boy at all. None of these are bad boy except for the last one, perhaps. But number 2 is going to be Valentino Wo Intense. This is not an original type of fragrance, as this smells very similar to Dior Homme or even Dior Homme Intense. What you're going to get from this one here is you're going to get leather, you're going to get iris. The iris does add that powdery touch, and the iris itself, that powdery nuance, does add that gently quality. You're going to get vanilla and tonka bean. So it's vanillic, powdery, a nice smooth leather. The leather is what adds a little bit of masculinity to it, because if it wasn't for that, this, in my opinion, can be like a unisex fragrance, in my opinion. This is great for, you know, if you want to wear this with something like this, by all means, but this will go very well with a sense of style, like a fashionable sense of style. Nothing like that's like in your face, loud and abrasive, to a suit and tie, to a tuxedo. This is fall and winter. Number 3 is going to be Trussardi Uomo 2011. Now this is probably going to be the most vintage-like fragrance, because this is 2011. They do have an original one that came out in like, I think it was like 1984 or something like that. So this is just like a remake. Now this used to be quite cheap, and you used to be able to get this everywhere, like online. I believe it's only on FragranceNet right now. So just pay attention, just keep looking around because this comes and goes. This one here does have violet. Now the violet is front and center. There's galbanum to add that green nuance. There is geranium, nutmeg, clary sage, oak moss, and leather. There is a little leather, but it's not like in your face. It's green, it's herbal, it's aromatic, it's woody, masculine, but gentleman. So I did state that this is probably going to be the most masculine one, except for maybe number 5. I gotta make another correction, because this is definitely a lot more masculine and very gentlemanly. This is like when Brock Lesnar wears a suit and tie, which does not happen a whole lot. Brock Lesnar, total badass, whether he's in the UFC or even in the WWE. I used to be a big time wrestling fan back in the day, and if I want to be a little bit more predictable with my description, James Bond. James Bond again, you know, fashionable, old school, gentlemanly, but manly. That's what this one here is. This is more of a spring and fall fragrance. Next one is going to be Ferragamo Wo Signature. This is gourmand-like. So you are going to get cardamom and nutmeg. Those two spices do warm it up. You're going to get some tonka bean that adds a little bit of sweetness. You're going to get coffee. Now the coffee, that roasted black coffee, is what adds that gourmand quality. Throw in a little bit of cypress and a little bit of leather. This is actually quite nice. Now, it's not overly formal, but I do think that you can wear this with a suit and tie. But it has a little bit of a playful nature because of that tonka bean and that coffee note. If you're looking for a good coffee fragrance, I urge you to try this one because this is actually quite solid. And this is fall and winter. Number 5 is going to be Trussardi Wo the Red. Now this is actually quite nice. What makes this one quite nice and different is going to be the cognac note. Cognac with warm spices. So there is definitely some nutmeg to this one here. There's going to be some geranium, some violet leaf, clary sage, leather, some galbanum, and patchouli. For me, it's mostly boozy, a little leather, green herbal, so it's definitely a little old school, with some spice. Really nice, like really, really nice. The only people that really talk about this one is me and George the Fragrance Apprentice. I haven't seen it on anybody else's channel. This is great, like this, but you can also dress this with a suit and tie, and I do think that you can dress this with a black tee and a leather jacket. This is fall, winter, and early spring. And number 6, this was originally a top 5, but I did error because this one here. But number 6, it's got Wo in the name, but this, in my opinion, can be a unisex fragrance. Ferragamo Wo. This is quite sweet. Now, there is a coffee note. There is tiramisu. You're gonna get that coffee, the tiramisu. You're gonna get some warm spices. So you're gonna get the nutmeg, the cardamom. There's some orange blossom to this one here with some sandalwood. This is playful, sweet, and sexy. Not really classy in my opinion. This is sexy. This is night out, date, club. This is fantastic, but again, wash your applications because this will just give you cavities. Tooth decay without question if you over apply. Fall and winter. So guys, that is top 6, not top 5. I didn't make a mistake, but hopefully you enjoyed this video anyways. And if you did, please leave me one of these. And any reviews that I've done on these fragrances, if you want a little bit more detailed, they will all be down in the description box below. If you want to see a great incense list, check out right here. And a grown and sexy video right here. So thank you for your time, take care, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody.